Hello everyone. Today I just wanted to talk about doing some simple IK. Not, there's lots of videos on there on how to do these kind of complex rigs and these complex IK systems. They're not that complex, but a lot of times I work mostly in gaming, so a lot of times it is just I just don't need those complex rigs. I just don't need all that IK stuff. I do a lot of my animation in FK anyways, so really I just need something a little extra to help me to make it easier to animate and stuff. So a lot of times I don't set up these rigs. You know, a character most of the time in your games only needs, a walk, a few idles, run, you know, and I can throw those together without a complex IK rig. But I will almost always set up some simple targetless IK. And that's what I don't see people showing on YouTube. So this is a video for that. On these back legs, I have it set up already. So just on this one bone. But if I try and grab this foot and do that, I get nothing because there's no IK on that foot, or there's no modifier on it. So this is super simple. I just have to hit the modifier while I'm on the bone constraints and hit inverse. And instead of putting in targets, all I want to do is add the bone length. And you have to make sure you have show relationship lines on. And once you have that, you can see there's a line going from the foot to the root bone. Okay, as I add more, now it's moving, and now the relationship is to the knee. And if I go one more, we're on the hip, and that's what I want. I usually end at the hip, or if it's on an arm, right at the end of the shoulder. So now if I grab this bone, now I have some simple IK on there that I can use. And I usually try and put it on most of the bones going up the chain, because you never know which bone you're going to want to grab. So just like this. But you see how simple it is to set up this. This is not complex at all. Right there. And now I can grab this bone, move it up. And I can do the same on here. And move it up to the shoulder. There, it's on the shoulder. Do an IK here. There's the shoulder. And I'll do one here. And it just becomes super handy when you can just grab any one of these bones and, move it, rotate, adjust it. Maybe this back leg, which doesn't have IK, but here we go. And just like that. And now I can just move that and then take that bone and rotate it. But I'll throw some IK on that too. But it's just super simple to set up these things and not have to deal with all of those extra targets that you need to move around. Now, one of the bad things about this is, you'll get something like this. Okay, and normally you would fix this bent rotation with your pull target. Okay, but we can't here. But there are also things that you can do. Now, you could add a constraint and limit the rotation. Limit the rotation on that. Or you could go into the IK settings for that bone on the bone tab. Inverse kinematics. And then you could play with these settings to make this kind of stuff, bendy stuff, happen less. Okay. Now, really what the targetless IK was really meant for was something like a tail. Okay, so I could throw, I already have some on there, but I could throw an IK on there, and then, where am I at here? Right there is the last one. And now I can pull this and move this around however I need it. And I usually, it's good to have IK on each one of these down the chain, just because you might want to use it. You might want to grab that one instead. But I love how it also works with while you're posing it. So now I just rotated this bone, and let's rotate this one. And now when I grab this IK, now it's still taking account those rotations that I just added in. And you could do this like on the head. I think I already have one. No, I don't have one. I think I have the head disconnected. But one thing that is kind of neat to use it on is on single bones like this for the eye. So now I have a simple IK. I think I just need to go one there. And now, just by grabbing that bone, I can rotate that eye. But if I didn't have that IK on there, I couldn't do that. I'd be grabbing it and moving it in space. So that's another trick for it. I'll show you a good case where this is why this kind of triggered this stuff in my head. Is we have this character. I'm working on this game for this client, and they want this Buddha master, Zen master, to be on this boat as it docks, as the boat docks, and talks to the character. But, here I have the rig. I don't have any IK on it, any kind of special. I just put through together this rig for them, or it came with this rig, or however you have to deal with it. So, the scene that I need to make animation for, he just needs to be standing up on the boat, basically, and then, maybe talking a little at the end. So I don't need some complex IK system. So instead of doing all that, I'm just, like normally, if this is just normal FK stuff, if I just try and grab this arm, that's all I'm doing is rotating that arm, that hand there. But if I just throw some IK on it, and real simple IK, nothing complex, and like I said, I try and always go to the end of the shoulder, because if you go in here one more, then it can get wonky. Most of the time I try and rotate this shoulder independently of everything else. So let's undo that and go one less, and now you get a better bend in there like that. Okay, now again, one of those things that you have to deal with when you don't have targets is this elbow will poke out like this. Okay, so you're going to have unwanted kind of bends, and you'll have to correct them yourself by going like this and then like that a little. But it's best to just kind of pose your character, and normally like you would do an FK, and then let's say your hand is just a little bit off. Now you can just grab this hand and move it slightly, okay, and put it right into the position that you want if you're just a little bit off by rotating bones. But that is a quick look at targetless IK. Have a good one, everyone.